Live right here on this Wednesday on the early line, a Hall of Fame type of day in the world of MLB. I am Ben Stevens. He is Donnie RightSide, and joining the early line Hall of Fame, that would be our MLB insider and the host of Newswire, Craig Mish, is here on this Wednesday on TEL, the Hall of Fame class of 2024. Three individuals, Craig Mish, Adrian Beltre and Joe Maurer on their very first time on the ballot, and Todd Helton, after 6 times on the ballot, will make his way to Cooperstown as well. Craig, let's dive right in. We thank you for being here. What is your assessment of the Hall of Fame class of 2024?
Yeah, I mean, look, I really think that it's great that 3 players got in. I'm sort of in between the big hall and the small hall people. I'm a little disappointed that Donnie fell off the ballot with all the PED speculation. You know, I mean, it'll be down to the SportsGrid committee to get him in a few years from now. It's just the nature of where we are. You know, I mean, they can only put Donnie so many people back on the ballot. And, you know, I think you're going to have to stay away from some of those, you know, betting enhancer drugs. But regardless of that, guys, as we really dive into the actual players who got in, I was very happy to see Adrian Beltre get the kind of percentages that he did. I thought that was well deserved. Todd Helton makes a lot of sense. You can't really decide where you play. Coors helped him. Let's be real. He did get helped by Coors, but his numbers do stack up to be a Hall of Famer. The surprise for me was Joe Maurer getting in on the first try. I did not see that happening. I thought he'd get into the Hall of Fame eventually, but what I think, guys, and I've said this for years about the Hall of Fame and things, that we still are in this old school wave of thinking. And because of that, players who play on one team for their entire career are being rewarded, and players who played on a lot of teams over the course of their career are being penalized. I mean, the data is there to show you this. This is why Gary Sheffield is not in the Hall of Fame. This is why Jeff Kent is not in the Hall of Fame. Stack Kent's numbers up against Chase Utley. Kent didn't get in. Utley's going to get in a few years from now. So I don't know why that is the case, guys, but that definitely seems to be the thing. It's probably the reason why Billy Wagner, it's taking him 15 years to get in the Hall of Fame. For some reason, the voters love these guys who are like, oh, they stayed with one team all the way through and didn't choose to go get more money from another team. I don't understand it, but that's the dynamic of what the Hall of Fame is.
Take in the future, because we did get 3 guys in, as you said. Billy Wagner just missed. Need that 75% threshold. Comes in at 73.8, so maybe next year here. But let's talk about some of the guys that have been on that too, like A-Rod or like the steroid era guys. I know there's sort of that never get in some voters have, but I know some voters also, Craig, over the past couple of years, starting to come around to the notion of, we'll let bygones be bygones. That was the steroid era. Some of those guys getting votes now. Are we changing our opinion that way? And is there chances guys like A-Rod could actually make the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. He went down a little bit in the voting this year. The disappointment is Sheffield because, look, everybody has their own narrative. Everyone has their own agenda as to why players got in or not. It doesn't make it right or wrong. That's what makes it fun to talk about, because it's strictly an opinion. Now, I can give you mine. My opinion is, when the rules are in place, if guys got caught for doing PEDs, that's the end. They broke the rules as far as Major League Baseball is concerned. So as great as Manny Ramirez was over the course of his career, he was taking like some horse stuff and he got caught twice doing it. Like, you know, he broke the rules. He got caught. I love Manny. He was a fantastic player. But at that point, the rules were in place. Alex Rodriguez got suspended for a year from Major League Baseball for the stuff that he did. Maybe the best player I've ever seen. But at some point, you have to reward the players who didn't break the rules and penalize the players who did break the rules. Gary Sheffield broke no rules. It was all speculation. He was not caught doing anything. So for me, however he ended up not getting caught or not doing it at all, which is probably the most likely scenario, to me, he is a Hall of Famer. So, Donnie, that's my explanation for it. A lot of people don't like that. They're like, oh, how can you not put Manny Ramirez in? How can you not put Alex Rodriguez in? How could you not put Rafael Palmeiro in the Hall of Fame too? These guys got caught and suspended when the rules were in place for doing PEDs. So to me, that's my line of demarcation. It's not for a lot of others, but that's mine.
And there is not necessarily a single line of thought or a criteria you need to meet to make the Hall of Fame. It is individuals voting on who gets to go to Cooperstown. The Hall of Fame class of 2024, Joe Maurer, Adrian Beltre, and Todd Helton, who, when I looked up Todd Helton to see when Peyton Manning took over for him at the quarterback spot at Tennessee during the 1994 college football season, Todd Helton leads the Rockies in pretty much every major stat category in the history of that franchise. Craig, the hot stove, a little bit more than a simmer over the last couple of days. A big deal in H-Town. Josh Hader is making his way to the Astros. A 5-year deal worth $95 million with Ryan Pressly already there in the back end of that bullpen. Might be one of the best 1-2 punches you will see in MLB. Craig, what do you make of the Astros first and foremost at the top of that list in the acquisition of Josh Hader?
Yeah, I think, and we'll get to Reese Hoskins, but for Hader, what's happening is people are confusing Hader's situation with some of the others, meaning that because Bellinger hasn't signed and because Blake Snell hasn't signed, they're looping Hader in with that, but they're not represented by the same people. Hader is represented by CAA. Those others are Scott Boras. Hader, in particular, guys, let's get it real at this point. He's tired of sitting around. I mean, that's it. You just, get. I don't need to break the $120 million from Edwin Diaz. Get me in a place wherever the money is. He got close to it, $100 million. Good job by him getting this done. I think the most underrated part of this discussion, guys, is most of these players, not all, have families. They have no idea where their kids are going to go to school next year. Like none right now. They have no idea where they're going to go to spring training. Is it Florida? It is not as simple as just saying, oh, they'll figure it out because they're millionaires. These are people too. So I'm glad that this has gotten the ball rolling a little bit. Hader, yes, you're right. In the back end of the Astros bullpen, very formidable with him and Ryan Pressly. The thing that I'm going to watch with Hader in particular is that toward the end of his career, he was pretty much saying, hey, look, until I'm a free agent, he didn't say this, but until I'm a free agent and sign with somebody, I'm pitching 1 inning and I'm getting out of the game. I wonder now if that will change with Houston and what kind of conversations had there. Will he throw an inning and a third, an inning and 2/3, maybe 2 innings? Because remember, he came up as a starter. He could be an incredible weapon out of that bullpen. I love the signing for the Astros.
Yeah, let's flip it over to Milwaukee. You're getting Reese Hoskins on a 2-year deal from the Philadelphia Phillies. Last time we saw Reese Hoskins in Philadelphia in spring training, tearing up that knee. You take a look at that top 5 here now in that lineup for Milwaukee. Yelich, Contreras, Frelick, Hoskins, and Adames. That's a nice little power bat in the middle of that lineup for the Brewers, who are always looking for some extra offense, Craig.
Yeah, it looks like Hoskins, the deal is kind of 1 year. He can opt out after the first year, very similar to Michael Conforto's deal when he signed after missing some time with the Colorado Rock or the San Francisco Giants, excuse me. I think Hoskins does the same thing. I think he plays out this year, sees how it goes. If it goes better than that contract, Donnie, I think he opts out, goes back to free agency. By the way, the Brewers, they'll see how their season goes too. They could potentially trade Hoskins halfway through the year.
And so as we look at the available free agents still outstanding, Blake Snell, Cody Bellinger, Matt Chapman, some big names on this board. Craig, when do you expect these big names still out there to sign with new teams?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd be guessing. I think Soler is next up. That would be my guess.
Okay.
I think Soler will get his 2-year contract, probably from some team in the American League soon. And that would be my guess, Ben. But honestly, nobody knows. Everybody likes to say they know, and they go on TV all over the country saying they know, or they go on radio saying they know. They really don't. They have no idea. No one has a clue. You want me to throw something out there and have Rebecca post it on social media? If it hits, I'll ask you guys to retweet it. And if not, we'll just ignore it, because we could do that too.
So I thought you were going to do it. I was going to say, yeah.
Toronto Blue Jays.
Put it out there.
Soler is going to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays in the next 7 days.
You heard it right there. Jorge Soler going to Toronto. More than the early line next.